Hi, Eric. Good morning. As you look back in this year, been about 3.4 per carry for most of the season. And I wondered if you think you can be a successful NFL offense if you produce yards per carry at that clip under 3.5.
At that rate, the numbers, what is that magic number? I don't know what that magic number is. We've got to run the ball better. We're working at it. We've talked about it, running the ball better. I think we've had some games recently where we have run it better. But that's a continued emphasis. I don't want to limit what that number is to say that that's a good. I mean, we've got to run it better. And that starts with the whole group, the offensive line. That starts with the backs making good decisions with the ball, tight ends, wide receivers blocking force. I mean, we're all involved in that. And but to have a consistent run game then helps with so many other things. So we've got to be better at that. And that's I don't know that there's a set number that says you've arrived.
And I know you've mentioned this year, you did today, and you have consistently, that everyone bears responsibility with the low rushing average, the backs, the offensive line. I know you've taken responsibility as well. But if you had to overall evaluate for me, please, how the offensive line has done as a run blocking group, if you could please do that, please.
Again, I don't necessarily think it's not one unit that's responsible for it. There's different runs. The runs hit in different places. There's different schemes. So, if we're running a toss play outside, that may be a different emphasis on who's the point of attack blocking than if you're running a dive play inside. So to put the responsibility on 5 guys and say that they're the only ones that affect, what happens in the run game, I don't think that's not what we do. And that's not the beauty of this game. The beauty of this game is it takes 11 people to be coordinated, to have success on one play at a time. That's why you play this game. That's why you get involved in it, because it's the team concept that's important to you. So it's all of us involved in that, coaches from the diagram and the creation of the plays and the teaching of what we're doing to all the way down to the players, the execution. But it doesn't rely strictly on one person for the execution, the success, or the production. It's the group effort.
Appreciate it.
Daniel?
Good morning, Eric. I know you don't coach the tight ends, but and I wasn't able to get this into George, but I noticed the kind of wrinkle in the Titans game where instead of having a running back next to Tua in some of those shotgun formations, you had Jerem Smythe. You would either kind of chip or just release. I was just curious kind of what went into that as opposed to having kind of more traditional back next to him. Was it maybe just not feeling comfortable with the protection there, or what was it?
No. Matter of fact, those groupings are interchangeable for us. There was times when Duke was back there in the exact same protections and the exact same calls. It just gives us a flexibility to use a different person. What does that change in personnel do to the defense? The fact that there's not a back on the field, does that change their calls, their coverages, what they have to do based on that? We're trying to make them think and do things too, where we're not just lining up in traditional stagnant groups, and that they can just say, okay, this is what our check is. Maybe it's 2 tight ends in there and it starts in an empty formation and shifts back to the backfield. It stays in empty. I mean, we're trying to make the defense work a little bit mentally too with their gymnastics of what they have to do. But scheme wise, we have the potential to get to very similar concepts with a back in there or a tight end.
Thank you.
David?
Hey, Coach. Coming off the game in Tennessee, was there any regret in not utilizing the run game more, given the conditions, everything else? I know game situations, playing from behind also have something to do with it.
I mean, as a running back coach, I always want to run the ball. I think there's I'm all for more runs, but at the end of the day, in our group, and I think in every group on this offense, we're gonna try to contribute whatever way we can to give us the best chance to win. And whatever play's called, then that's what we got to execute. And if we execute each play at a high level, it's the execution of it. It's doing it better. It's doing exactly right on every play that gives us the best chance. Whether that's run, pass, play action, drop back, those things are. We have to be. We can do any of those things if we execute them well.
And with Duke Johnson, was there anything that surprised you in the week since he came up from the practice squad to the active roster, or was this kind of what you had been seeing from him since he joined the team in October?
Well, I mean, since Duke's been here, he's done everything, you know, that I and we have asked of him, which is, you know, come in, learn the system, get prepared to contribute in games, which he's done. He's gone in. I think he's played well. He's made some runs. He had some really good runs the other day in Tennessee. He's done some really nice things in protection. He's been effective in protection. He was the other day in Tennessee again. He had a big block on the long pass to Jalen down the field. You know, that gives that ball a chance to get off. So I'm very happy with what he's contributed and what he's brought to the room. His energy, his positivity, his work ethic, everything that we're looking for. I think he's done everything we've asked.
Barry?
You know, every training camp, and this is probably the case with any team, you see something that excites you. And one thing we saw being out there every day in July and August was Ahmed out of the backfield catching passes. Is that something that you and George have tried to use more for games he's been active and been on the field and it just hasn't materialized? Is that at all a regret of this year that couldn't have been exploited in games as it was in early August practices and preseason?
Yeah. You know, I think when we're evaluating the talent on the team, we're trying to find roles for everybody. The reality is there's only so many spots and only so many plays and things that we can do. We have, you know, some real playmakers on this team. So sometimes that ball, you know, gets spread around other places. And, you know, Savon has done a great job. He's got tremendous work ethic. He's really smart. He's passionate about this. He's committed to this. And you know, did it go exactly how he wanted it, how we wanted it? You never know how that is. We have to play it out and we have to take it kind of as it comes. But he is, you know, he's a young professional and he's doing everything he can to get himself ready every week, and he's ready to go every week. It has been on the times that we've asked him to go up and play.
And one last thing, just going to ask you assessment of Jared Dokes after being around him for a year. What kept him from, you know, being elevated at all this year? What's the skill he has to develop to be an NFL running back, do you think?
Yeah, you know, I think we'll look at all those things. I mean, Jared's done it. He's come in and he's worked hard and he's learned the system and he's, you know, it's an adjustment coming to the NFL. And I think he's made that adjustment. You know, we all determine our different roles as to what we're doing. And he'll continue to develop and he'll get better going forward. It's just, you know, he's got to keep working like all of us do and keep working to get better, and he will.